Good morning. My name is Michael Wotorson, and I am the Executive Director for the Campaign for High School Equity. And let me welcome all of you here this morning. I recognize that there is a lot that's going on in our city, in our nation, in our world, and there's a lot that's competing for your attention. So I appreciate the fact that you all have chosen to be with us here this morning. Let me say a quick word about the Campaign for High School Equity. We are a coalition of 9 major civil rights and advocacy organizations that have a long and distinguished and storied history in this country in advocating for greater civil rights, for education reform, and frankly advocating for greater and deeper democracy. We came together as a coalition to really try and focus a national conversation in some really positive ways on federal high school policy, because from our standpoint, and I think you may agree with me, high schools are really sort of the gateway through which young people move into the rest of their lives, and the degree to which our high schools adequately prepare young people for college, for work, and for life, frankly, directly impacts the future of our country economically and politically. And so we place a great deal of importance and focus on the degree to which our high schools are strong and are supported. As the morning goes on, there will be a few other of our coalition members who will join us, but I just want to very quickly point out a couple of our partners who are in the room. Representing the National Urban League is Ms. Suzanne Bergeron, who is in the back. Representing the Alliance for Excellent Education is Elizabeth Schneider and Jamie Fastow, who are also in the back. I also want to very quickly introduce to you the Deputy Director for the Campaign for High School Equity, Ms. Paloma Zuleta, who is in the back. A little bit about our format and our agenda for this morning. I'm sure most of you are used to this format. It's not rocket science, but basically I'm going to very briefly say a word or two about the topic this morning and sort of try to frame it from the perspective of CHSE, and then I will introduce our speakers, who will each share with you their perspectives on the issue for about 5 to 7 minutes. When that is done, I will then open up a question and answer session. And to do that, I will probably take the liberty as moderator for the morning by asking a question or two myself. And then we will open up to those of you who are gathered here to ask questions as you so please. What I would ask, though, is that as you ask a question, I would ask that you keep it brief, but 2, more importantly, if you would introduce yourself and tell us the organization or your affiliation. It's always important and useful for us to know who is here in the room with us and to know where questions may come from. So I'd like you to do that as well, if you wouldn't mind. And we will use the rest of the time to hopefully have a thorough discussion about the issue. Very quickly, in your packet that I hope you all have received, there are a couple of things that I want to draw your attention to before we get into the meat of our discussion this morning. One of the very first things I want to draw your attention to is a short document that describes in a little bit more detail the Campaign for High School Equity. In addition to sort of perusing this document, I would encourage you also at your leisure to visit our website to learn more about the campaign and more about the specific policy priorities that we have been trying to focus on for the last year or so, and we will continue to focus on moving forward. I also want to call your attention to a couple of resource documents that we're sharing with you that are coming from some of our speakers. Hopefully that will aid in your understanding and aid in our discussion here this morning.